Welcome to the first ever episode of Beyond the Buzzer, hosted by Dylan Kipperman and Austin Friedman. Austin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Austin Friedman. I'm an avid sports fan. I'm a big fan of the Gators, the Mets, the Giants, the Sixers, and I love college sports and high school recruiting. I'm an 11th grader, and this is amazing that me and one of my best friends get to do this together because this is amazing.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to get it going. Just like Austin, I'm in high school from New Jersey. Big fan of all sports. Giants, Yankees, Rangers, Knicks. So, I'm all about sports, and me and Austin are always talking about sports. So, why not bring it to a show, right? So, first episode of Beyond the Buzzer. Uh, we're gonna be hopefully doing this weekly, maybe. I don't know.
Sounds great here.
We're going worldwide Beyond the Buzzer. Um, so yeah, obviously this past weekend, the biggest football game of the year, Super Bowl 55 between the Chiefs and the Bucks. Austin, what were your thoughts on the game?
Usually when I watch football, I'm a very passionate fan. I like to sit. I like to be with family. Nothing's better than eating wings while watching the game.
Mm.
That second half was hard to watch. Mahomes was getting destroyed. The right tackle was out. The left tackle was out. He ran for 497 yards around the whole field. He had no line. I felt awful for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, losing two your offensive linemen throughout that you had the entire year. Now losing him in the Super Bowl just changes the whole dynamic, and especially with the Bucks, they had the best run D in the league, one of the best defensive lines. Shaq Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul. They have two of the best linebackers in the game, Devin White, Levante David. So, I mean, when you're put in that position, it's really tough to stop it. And like you said, Mahomes ran 497 yards out of the pocket trying to escape those guys, which is pretty crazy. Um, so yeah, I mean, Chiefs weren't even able to score a touchdown. Luckily, Butker hit his 3 field goals to make it look like not that much of a blowout. But I mean, it was pretty ugly.
Antoine Winfield with a big pick.
Yeah, Antoine
Given
Winfield, great rookie.
given cheated the deuces.
Yeah, gave Tyreek the peace signs. That was amazing. Uh, um, so yeah, Brady gets his 7th ring, his 5th Super Bowl MVP. I mean, that's crazy. As a Giants fan, as much as I hate Brady, and I'm sure Austin, you don't really like him that much either, but you got to respect him. I mean,
I
what
mean,
he's
I think
done is
he's the
crazy.
GOAT now. He has more championships and Super Bowls than
Franchise.
any other franchise in the NFL, which says something, I have to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
I
it
mean,
proves that he doesn't need Belichick. That's for sure.
yeah, I mean, he's definitely put it in a concrete form that he is the GOAT.
Oh
And
yeah, and age doesn't affect him either. That's another thing.
I mean, 43 and you're winning a Super Bowl. That's crazy.
Yeah. Do you think Gronk calls it quits now? He won it once. He's just gonna end it now, or you think he tries to
Um,
run it back?
I think Gronk is gonna run it back. I mean, Brady's got another year on his deal. I mean, they're such great friends, and he's still in football form. He caught 2 touchdowns
Oh, for
in the Super
sure.
Bowl.
Oh my
So, I
God,
mean,
he's
I
a
think
monster.
he's gonna have no problem maybe taking a little bit of a pay cut and rejoining the Bucks. Obviously, they have to re-sign. I know Shaq Barrett's a free agent.
Godwin, Chris
Godwin's
Godwin is a
a
free
free agent.
agent.
So who knows? I mean, Godwin could leave.
And
And
the most unselfish player in the NFL, Mike Evans.
yeah,
Mike Evans, Texas A&M
mhm,
alum,
yeah, I
wide
believe.
receiver. He said he would take a pay cut to run it back.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I love when players do that, just putting the team before themselves. Like, I mean, Mike Evans has already been paid so much throughout his career, and so many of these other guys too. Like, if you want to win another one with Tom Brady, I would 100% take the chance, take a little bit of pay cut. But it varies player to player. Chris Godwin might want his money, and he might want to go
100%.
to another team that's going to give him that money, and he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver. He's not going to
Mm-hmm.
be in the shadow of Mike Evans.
Antonio Brown, even.
Exactly, yeah. Antonio Brown's a free agent. Shaq Barrett's a free agent. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's put together 2 amazing seasons the last 2 years, so he's going to get some money.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows if Tampa's going to re-sign him? Um, but yeah, I mean, the Chiefs, they put up a fight. Todd Bowles put together a great defense, putting it was a very simple defense, but it worked.
A
They
lot of deep zone coverage, not a lot of blitz packages. But
Mhm.
does this Super Bowl and the Chiefs offense prove to you that the enemy can't be a head coach?
I don't know. I don't know because just like we were talking before, like it was a pretty bad situation with the O linemen and how both of them were hurt. So I
Mhm.
mean, they were scrambling.
A lot of guys couldn't even catch the ball.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, Darrell Williams went right to his helmet. um, I mean, Kelsey still had a great game. You're never gonna stop Kelsey. He's the definition of consistency. But they were able to contain Tyreek after he had 270 yards in the first quarter, their first matchup.
Yep.
Um, he had about, I think, sub 70-yard game. They like you said, they were putting the deep zones on him, not letting them get any shots. I'm surprised I didn't see any trick plays from the Chiefs because they had that play where this season against the Falcons, they pitched it off to the right and forgot who threw it. It might have been Mecole Hardman. He threw it all the way to their side and it was actually picked by Keanu
Yeah, it
Neal.
was Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins did that.
Sammy Watkins threw it to Mahomes. And I mean, Andy Reid and Bieniemy are such creative guys. They're masterminds. So, I mean, I was expecting another trick play, especially after a lot of their stuff was getting locked down.
Yep.
And last year in the Super Bowl, I know on the goal line, they had that play where they did the spins. Remember that? They did
Yep.
the spins against the
NFL is
49ers.
a copycat league. The
Mm-hmm.
Bears ran a trick play. They run it the same play again, and they
Yeah.
got picked up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's becoming a copycat league. A lot of people like to run the same things. A lot of offensive coaches, a lot of offensive-minded coaches. Sean McVay, for example, is changing the game. Cliff Kingsbury. We could see
Exactly.
Urban Meyer do it as well. Urban Meyer's a very good offensive mind.
Mm-hmm.
So the NFL is changing. It really is for the better. We don't know
You
yet,
got it.
but I think it is.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Um, I mean, obviously the Super Bowl, the game didn't live up to the hype. The GOAT versus possibly the future GOAT. Who knows? On that 10-year contract, maybe he can win 7 straight and dethrone Brady, but that's pretty unlikely. I think definitely Tom Brady has cemented himself as the GOAT with that 7th championship.
For sure. For sure.
So I guess we
So
can
some trade rumors.
segue into some off-season stuff.
All
So
right, quarterbacks on the move. A
yeah.
lot of quarterbacks seem to be on the move.
Hmm.
Carson Wentz, Aaron Rodgers in the never-ending trade rumors when he always ends up back to Green Bay. Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of guys who may be moved. Jimmy Garoppolo, even Jared Goff, even though now he's not on the Lions, he may be moved. Another team may want him more, and they can get a first rounder out of him.
Hmm.
So where do you see these teams and these players going? And do you think there's going to be a lot of teams wanting to draft quarterback? Look at other ways, maybe take a guy like a Jameis Winston, who was a backup this year, and make him their starter. Like the Colts, I know are a quarterback hungry team. I don't know if they're going to be ready to move on to Jacob Eason just yet. Do you think they go for a 1-year guy like a Jameis Winston, for example? They sign him for 1 year, say you're going to play here, prove it.
Hmm. What team were you talking about?
The Colts.
I mean, yeah, the Colts, they have a really big question mark because Rivers obviously retires. Brissett, I've heard that they may have him be the starter, which really didn't work 2 years ago. They didn't make the playoffs. So it depends with Winston if he wants to leave New Orleans or if he wants to stay there and battle it out with Taysom Hill because as we saw earlier this season, Taysom Hill was the starter when Drew Brees was out. So do the Saints have enough confidence
Yeah.
in Jameis
Even
Winston to say
even
we're
Breeze
gonna be
may
the starter?
retire.
What do you say? Uh,
Even Breeze may retire. Drew
yeah,
Brees
yeah,
may
yeah.
retire.
I
We
mean,
don't
yeah,
know that yet. They might
yeah.
draft a
So I mean,
quarterback for all we
yeah,
know.
Breeze is still a question. I mean, I think if Breeze doesn't retire and comes back another year, I think Winston might be on the move, and I think the Colts could be a possible landing spot for him
Yep.
since they have that vacant QB position.
Yep.
I mean, 49ers are a team that could draft a quarterback.
Garoppolo
Falcons.
hasn't seemed to be able to get it done.
Hmm.
There's a chance I could see them maybe making a move for hometown player Aaron Rodgers, but it usually doesn't pan out that way. There's going
Yeah.
to be a lot of first round picks involved in that if they were to get
Hmm.
that done. I mean, Aaron Rodgers doesn't seem to be leaving unless a guy like Aaron Jones moves on, which I don't foresee happening.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean they paid Garoppolo
Carson
all that
Wentz
money.
and the Eagles.
No, they paid. I was
Yeah, I
saying they
know.
paid
So they
Garoppolo
have to
all
get
that
rid of
money.
him too.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I know they're going to have to get rid
Carson
of him
Wentz, go
too.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, another guy might move to the Colts. I've heard San Francisco may be a landing spot for Carson Wentz, and they're trying to get a package similar to what Matt Stafford was traded for. They want 2 first-round picks and and another quarterback. And are they going to get another quarterback because they have Jalen Hurts? Like, there's a lot of question marks. I heard that the last thing I heard that was that he was going to get moved to the Bears for Tariq Cohen and a first-round pick and Nick Foles. And would you even take that if you're Philadelphia? Like, would you want to go back to Foles being the starter backup and questioning Jalen Hurts being the starter after you took a second-round pick on him last year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that Bears rumor with Foles is pretty crazy. You know, Foles won the Super Bowl for the Eagles, could be coming back. I mean, as a Giants fan, if they trade for Foles, that's great because Foles isn't going to be winning them any games.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm the Eagles, I'm sticking with Jalen Hurts. You know, he played really well. He played really well when he actually played and
Yep.
didn't get benched for Nate Sudfeld. But yeah, he played really well. Yeah, I know. Screw you, Doug Peterson, if you're watching this, which you're probably not, but screw you. So yeah, I mean, I have if I'm an Eagles fan, I have full confidence in Jalen Hurts. He's got a lot of talent. He's really good. So Falcons, what do you think about Matt Ryan and them possibly drafting a quarterback? I think they're at 4. What?
So from what I've heard recently from some recent reports I've been reading, they're not moving on from Matt Ryan and they're not moving on from Julio Jones. I'm very surprised about that. I think that although those guys are very loyal, they've been staying there for a very long time, they haven't been able to prove anything. So there's a time and a place. There's a time to move on and there's a time to rebuild. There's guys in this draft class that could change around that team. Getting a first round pick for Julio Jones at this point in time may be the better option. Trade with a team like the 49ers, get their first round pick, get the pick after the Giants, so you would get pick 12. Draft a guy like Kyle Pitts and get a quarterback like Trey Lance, Zach Wilson with your pick at like 4. Yeah, you can make something happen with that. I think that sticking with your old guys may not always be the best case, especially if you haven't been able to compete this year and you got a super high pick. Why would you try to do the same thing again? And you also have prime Calvin Ridley. You don't want to go waste those years.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you see the Lions, you know, finally realizing that they need to go into rebuild mode. They trade Stafford, they take on Goff's big contract, and they're not going to be looking to win any games, get into the playoffs soon. Obviously, with their roster, they have Galladay as a free agent, Marvin Jones is a free agent who's hinted at the fact that he wants to go to LA and team up with his old quarterback Matt Stafford again, which is what I've heard, which would be pretty cool.
I've also heard his name linked to New England.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting offseason. But I mean, yeah, the Falcons they missed out on their shot in that Super Bowl, 28-3.
Oh yeah, 28-3.
They should have.
But do you think that Galladay comes back on a franchise tag or a large extension? Because the last thing I heard is that he rejected his contract.
Yeah.
And I know the Giants, our Giants, are in play for him. So
Mhm.
what do you foresee happening with that situation? Same thing with Allen Robinson, with the Bears not being able to really compete and do much with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles. Do you think that either of those receivers move on and go to the Giants or the Jets or a very wide receiver needed team?
I think, to be honest, I think both of them are going to leave. I think with Galladay rejecting that offer, I don't think he wants to be in Detroit anymore. His quarterback Matt Stafford is gone, and I think he didn't really. He played 5 games this season. I don't know. I'm just getting the vibe that he's not really passionate about playing there anymore.
Yeah, I totally get that.
With Allen Robinson, there were a lot of talks about him like on Twitter. He like deleted all the Bears stuff on his account and a lot of stuff about him hinting not wanting to be on the Bears. Eventually came back to his senses, played the season, had a good season, but I mean, he's definitely the best receiver in this free agency class.
Sure.
And a lot of teams that are going to need wide receivers, like you said, the Jets and Giants, they're going to be looking to sign him. And I think he's going to leave.
Oh. Yep. One more quarterback rumor, Deshaun Watson. Do you think that the Texans are going to be able to maintain him, keep him there? You think that he's going to be able to make his way over to Miami for Tua and a few first-round picks and put it on with Devonta Smith if they could keep their high pick? Or we'll see what they could do there. But it doesn't seem too promising if you're Deshaun Watson right now.
I mean, I don't really think we've ever seen a situation where a guy demands a trade and requests a trade and he wasn't traded. So I think it's inevitable that Deshaun Watson is going to get traded. As much as the Texans want to hold on to them, want to hold on to him, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, he just won't play. He simply won't play. And I think they need to get rid of him. Some spots are obviously the Jets. We've seen Allen Robinson like tweets about the new coach Robert Saleh, and the possibility of him and Deshaun Watson teaming up in New York. So that could be a possible landing spot. And the Jets have that number 2 pick. That's very enticing for the Texans, who don't have their pick this year, and the Dolphins own their pick in that Laramie Tunsil trade.
Yep.
So that could be a very enticing trade for the Texans. I'd say that's probably the best deal they're going to get for Deshaun Watson, that number 2 pick, if they're going to trade him. What do you think?
You could also draft another young quarterback and just move on. So you can get a guy like Zach Wilson. I don't think Lawrence is falling there, but you can get a guy like Zach Wilson, who seems to be pretty promising, and some may say. Trey Lance, he had an amazing season at North Dakota State.
Mhm.
Another guy that I hear is flying up draft boards because he seems to be the prototypical game manager of the NFL. Mac Jones. He put it on in the national championship
Mhm.
like no other. He was flinging the ball around. He also had an amazing surrounding cast. But that type of game usually translates over to the NFL pretty well. Justin Fields, although everybody says he's an Ohio State quarterback, he also played at Georgia one year in the SEC before he transferred over to Ohio State. Kid's proven that he could play. He beat Trevor Lawrence, the projected number 1 overall pick. Pretty much seems to be the consensus number 1 overall pick as of right now. Would you
Mhm.
say that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think if the Jaguars don't select Trevor Lawrence, I mean, the internet is going to go crazy.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
But
this guy has been the number 1 pick for the past 3 years. The first year he's entered college, and he won the championship as a freshman. Imagine if they don't pick him. Like, that would be the craziest thing. I mean, it's a real possibility because Urban Meyer and Fields have that Ohio State connection. I just don't see any possibility that it's going to happen,
yeah, I don't foresee it happening either. No, I don't foresee it either.
though.
All right. Do you want to go on to the NBA?
Yeah, we can do some NBA talk. So pretty crazy season this year, obviously with COVID and everything. We've had a lot of guys with close contract tracing and all that stuff, missing games. A lot of teams missing games, unfortunately. I know big stars like Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler have been out for extended periods of time because of COVID. And a lot of teams are struggling early. And you don't really expect that. I know the Nuggets got out to a really slow start. I think they were like 1-4, and they were in the Western Conference Finals last year. Same with the Heat.
In
They've been on a
Miami.
really bad stretch, especially without Jimmy Butler, as I said, with COVID. They're trying to regain their playoff spot. My Knicks are very surprising.
Surprising
Um,
everybody. Your boy Emmanuel quickly over there
Manuel
is
quickly, I
playing
love him.
great.
Yeah, I mean, he should definitely be in rookie of the year talks. Probably not 1 or 2. But definitely number 3. I think he could finish the season number 3 in rookie of the year. I think. Who do you think is going to win rookie of the year? I think LaMelo Ball is going to
As
take.
of right now, it seems like it's LaMelo Ball who has been playing extremely well. Anthony Edwards may be able to take it over
Mhm.
eventually.
He's been playing
They give
great.
him the more minutes in the starting job, and they like tell him like, "Hey, you're the guy here with Russell and Towns. Hey, maybe he ends up taking it over and taking some initiative, be the third player on that amazing team like they expected him to be." It
Yeah.
was surprising when they got that pick anyway last year.
Mhm.
Another guy who may end up being put back into that race if he starts to play well again would be James Wiseman, the
Mhm.
7-1 center from he went to Memphis and then he dropped out because of recruiting violations.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
he's a unicorn.
He's special. He's a really special talent.
For sure. I mean, and having guys like Clay Thompson when he's healthy, and having guys like
Wow.
Draymond Green, Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins, Stephen Curry, like guys like that are what makes those type of players that are young really good, especially Draymond, who's been taking him under his wing and teaching him the ways of playing
Mhm.
defense and stuff. Because James Wiseman coming into the draft, everybody's big concern about him was his defense and his defensive ability. Everybody knew he could block shots, but other than that, his rebounding they were worried about, and he was a very offensive minded player. And Draymond Green, former defensive player of the year, is taking him under his wing and teaching him the ways, which seems to be great.
I think Wiseman landing at number 2 to the Warriors was his best possible situation, and the best possible situation for the Warriors as well. They've needed that big for so long. all those finals runs with their dynasty. They've had guys like
Andrew
Kevon
Bogut.
Looney, Festus Ezeli, like so many like Bogut, yeah, as you said, like so many centers that are just below average or barely average centers, and having James Wiseman who can be a top center in the league is amazing. And it really sucks Klay Thompson is out. But having him on the floor just completely changes the entire game for that Warriors team. Um, Curry's putting the team on his back right now, and he's playing great. But I mean, having Klay Thompson on the floor, just the spacing, the ISO play for Steph Curry, pick and roll with Wiseman's going to look great. And the fact that the Warriors are still in a playoff spot right now without Klay Thompson, one of the best shooters of all time, is pretty promising.
Do you think that puts him in the MVP conversation?
Who? Curry?
Does that put Steph Curry in the MVP
Oh,
conversation?
100%. 100%. My MVP guys have got to be, in no specific order, have got to be Jokic, Embiid, LeBron, and Curry. Those four
Yep,
guys. They've been outstanding this season.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I mean Jokic is putting up a borderline triple double as a center, something we've never seen before, averaging 8 assists as a center. I mean, that's crazy. Um Embiid is consistently putting up 45, 15 in 5 games. I
Yep.
mean, that's never been seen before. Well, it has been seen before. Wilt Chamberlain,
Yeah.
about 50 years ago. But I mean, he's playing great. LeBron's being LeBron. Had another triple double last night in two double OT games. And I mean, a lot of people thought he was going to coast through this season, and the Lakers were going to be a 3 seed, and they were going to have their guys rest, LeBron and Anthony Davis rest through the season. But I mean, the Lakers have shut that down, and they've been playing really well. And LeBron's definitely in that MVP conversation. And then obviously Steph Curry has just been playing outstanding.
100% agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Six man of the year.
Six man, I think has got to be Jordan Clarkson. I mean, that the Jazz team is playing so well right now. I think they're the number 1 team in the league record wise. They're shooting amazing from 3. They went on like an 11-game win streak. Joe Ingles, Royce O'Neal, guys like that are just putting up amazing performances for them. Donovan Mitchell, Gobert having great seasons.
Mike Conley.
Yeah, Mike Conley had a down year last year, but is really picking it up this year. My main question is that Jazz team good enough to beat the Clippers or the Lakers? What do you think?
My opinion, I do not currently know. I don't think they are as of this moment, but you never know with Kawhi in the playoffs and Paul George in the playoffs and LeBron and AD. I don't think they're much of a competition to, honestly, in my opinion, because if AD guards Gobert and LeBron was to guard a guy like Donovan Mitchell, I don't think it's really much of a match. Kawhi and Paul George may be a little bit of a different story, especially with that Clippers team. So we'll see. I mean, it should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead last year to the Nuggets, which was devastating. I mean, I think the whole NBA world wanted to see Clippers versus Lakers in that Western Conference Finals. That would have been a great matchup. They did blow it though to the Nuggets, who played great. Jamal Murray played great in the bubble. Hasn't really translated into this season, but that's fine. But yeah, I think as good as the Jazz are playing right now, and as good as all their players are performing, I don't know if they're enough to get over that hump of the LA.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Most improved player. Do you think it goes to Christian Wood, or do you think it goes to a guy like Jeremy Grant, who no one was expecting to play this well? They gave him a very big contract. I saw when he signed with the Pistons for $20 million for 4 years. I thought they were absolutely insane getting another guy who was pretty big, like 6'8", 6'9", like in height, after they got a guy like Jahlil Okafor, and they have a bunch of bigs, and they're just putting it together, I guess, and he's playing amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's averaging like 22, which is outstanding compared to, I think he averaged like 13 last year, which is a huge jump. Definitely most improved player worthy. Christian Wood, he's putting up like 22 and 10, which is amazing. He's a completely different player than we saw in Detroit. But I think it's going to have to go to Jeremy Grant. Unfortunately, Christian Wood went down with an injury. He's going to be out on a week-to-week basis, sprained his ankle, which sucks because he was having such a great season. So were the Rockets. The Rockets were playing really well recently. In like their past 10 games, they were like the number one defense in the league, currently like the second best defense in the league. My Knicks are up there. Shout out Thibodeau, top defense in the league. But yeah, I mean, sucks for Christian Wood. So yeah, do we want?
Right.
All right, so we're gonna segue into some MLB talk. Austin, you can take the lead on this.
Yeah. The MLB has some new rules, not in my favor for let's just say. They rejected the universal DH, which is for everybody to have a DH. I don't know why they would do this when last year it worked great. Guys like Marcelo Zuna was an amazing DH. And now he re-signed with the Braves. That means they're going to have to put him in the field. And he's not one of the best fielders. Really, really impacts my Mets. Puts a guy in the field like Dom Smith, who we really don't want to see out in left field, and we really don't want to platoon him with Alonso much. So it kind of puts us in a little bit of an awkward situation. Plus, we don't like when our pitchers hit because it can cause issues. They also brought back the runner on second base in extra innings, which I absolutely despise that rule because it kills pitchers because you start with one out and you get a guy on second base. That could change the game because with one bunt over to third base side, if they're shifting on you, especially with the new era of baseball, with these crazy shifts and all the analytics departments with all these organizations, you bunt the ball over to third base, you get the guy over to third, and you have two outs now. That puts you in a much better position than if you were to have no one on, no one out. So I really do not like that rule. They implemented it in college baseball. I heard they were going to do that too. I'm really, really not happy. The game of baseball is supposed to be played the full game. You're not supposed to be skipping innings. And so that's the nature of the game. The nature of the game is that you're supposed to go to the baseball game, have a hot dog, spend time with your family. And now they're kind of just trying to make it a little bit shorter, which I'm really not too fond of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they also came back with the doubleheader 7 innings, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Again.
They're going to be doing that. And they're going to be adding an extra player to every single major league roster as of right now. 26 players on the roster because of COVID.
Mm-hmm. I mean, contrasting to you, I kind of like that rule because I think baseball games can get a little long with the extra innings and the man on second base. But there's definitely arguments to both sides. As you said, easy bunt, guy gets to third base. It can hit a sacrifice fly and got a run already. So
also kills Mets pitchers like Edwin Diaz and Hiri Familia. It's been that way for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, some changes in the MLB.
Is Trevor Bauer's free agency a good look for baseball, or is it a bad look for baseball? In my opinion, I think as a Mets fan, I'm trying not to be biased here. I think it's a bad look for baseball. He played the Mets fans and the Angels like no other. He posted it all over his social media just to play and toy with Mets fans' hearts, which was not nice of him. He came out with a sorry apology. Mets fans are very unhappy with his manager, Rachel Luba, and it's just not in my opinion, I don't think he's a good look for baseball. He's the highest paid pitcher when his stats haven't proven it. He had one very good season. He had one pretty good season. I don't know. I just don't think that he deserves to be the highest paid player in baseball. I think that his free agency was more of a game show and let's play a joke on this team and let's play a joke on that team than, okay, let's go to the Dodgers and let's win a World Series, which I wasn't too fond of. I mean, I honestly, in my opinion, I really didn't want Bauer for the Mets, especially for $45 million a year. I think that was an absorbent amount of money. And for him to be paid almost double Jacob deGrom, who I totally think is the best pitcher in baseball, I think it's absurd.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta understand that's the character Trevor Bauer is. He's a goofy guy, obviously, like with the YouTube channel and stuff. And I mean, when I saw that he was selling the Mets hats and the Dodgers hats, that was hilarious. That was really funny. Yeah, that's just the guy Bauer is. In some other news, I guess we can talk about some NBA news that we really didn't cover. The D Rose trade to the Knicks.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the Knicks did great. A second round pick in Dennis Smith Jr., who was not playing well, and they put him in their G League. Whoa. I mean, Derrick Rose is going to make an immediate impact. He's the second highest scoring player off the bench this year.
Mhm.
he might be put into the sixth man of the year consideration soon too if he doesn't get the starting job over Alfred Payton. We'll see. But I mean, Derrick Rose was already in the Knicks. With the Knicks. It didn't seem like it went too well. He wanted to come back to be with Tibbs. I think that's great for the Knicks. I think that he's a great locker room guy. I think that he could change the culture with the Knicks a little bit, and he could totally bring some veteran leadership over to Emmanuel Quickly, who seems like he's been falling out right now. And hey, see how that goes. Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickly, pair that with like Obi Toppin, Julius
Mhm.
Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. That might be a playoff team.
That looks pretty good. I mean, and reports have come out that he, at dinner last night, he was sitting with the two rookies, Obi Toppin and Manuel Quickly, giving them advice, telling them, I'm here for you when you guys need me. I'm your teammate now. Emmanuel Quickly gave him his phone number. They're gonna, Derrick Rose is just gonna be a great role model for them. And I'm really happy for the young development of the Knicks. I hope I hope this doesn't really take away from any of Emmanuel Quickly's development and playing time on the court. They have 4 point guards now who are gonna be needing rotational minutes: Alfred Payton, Derrick Rose, Quickly, and Austin Rivers, and they also have Ntilikina, who hasn't touched the rotation since that injury. But um, there's already been rumors that Rivers is going to be shipped to a contending team, which I wouldn't mind. Maybe get like a second round pick, some guy. But hopefully this just doesn't impede Quickly's development. And yeah, maybe put Alfred Payton in that back seat. We don't need you, Alfred. Put D Rose in the starting lineup. Um, but yeah, I really like the direction the Knicks are going. Tibbs has brought a great culture change to New York. Absolutely transformed Julius Randle into an all-star caliber player, which was crazy. I don't think anyone would have thought that. He went from, averaging 2 or 3 assists a game to averaging 6 now, and now 11 boards and 22 points a game. Definitely putting him in all-star conversations. Um, the team chemistry is great. I mean, it's great to have New York basketball back. Another big trade, James Harden trade, happened a couple months ago. What do you think about that trade, the aftermath, all the elements of it? Obviously, because it was four teams involved: the Cavs, the Pacers, Rockets, and the Nets, obviously. So what do you
All
think
right.
about that?
So I think that first off, thank God the Sixers did not trade Ben Simmons, Matisse Thybulle, and Tyrese Maxey,
Mm-hmm.
and an infinite amount of first round picks for an aging James Harden. Oh my God, thank God. But thank God that this trade happened, especially for Karis LeVert.
Yeah.
Karis LeVert, we wouldn't have known about his condition. Um, the Pacers decided to take on the trade. They foresee him coming back, but that's a really, really bad injury that he has. I mean, no
Mm-hmm.
one would have expected that either. The way he's been playing, he had a very good hot start to the season. He's been very consistent recently for the Nets. A guy like Jared Allen who got chipped over to the Cavs. Now I hear they may be moving on from Andre Drummond.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jared Allen seems to be the center of the future there in Cleveland. And James Harden is now a Brooklyn Net. I was not expecting to be saying that a while ago,
I
but
know.
I think that having him and KD and Kyrie, those are three very big personalities. Those are three very, very big names. And maybe they move on from a guy like Joe Harris and trade Joe Harris because he's making $16 million, and a guy like, I don't know, maybe Kuruz and Musa to try to get a guy like Kevin Love. Maybe they get another star over there, try to get
Mm-hmm.
4 big stars and a big four like we haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
Like 4 amazing players who could totally spread the floor. But a lot of the Nets issue is that they cannot stay healthy, and a lot of their Steve Nash is sometimes his coaching is not the best.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like you said, they definitely need that big. DeAndre Jordan is not a championship center anymore. Um,
Totally agree.
Neither is Reggie Perry, the second round pick from this year. If they're able to cop Andre Drummond from the buyout market, if the Cavs do buy him out, or if they're able to snag him in a trade towards the trade deadline, I think there's no doubt they don't win. Um, and it's really championship or bust for them right now. Obviously, if they don't win it, it's a huge disappointment. It should be. They should 100% be in the finals. their only possible suitors to make the finals are the Bucks and the Sixers. I think are the only guys that can compete with them. But a big question for the Nets is that defense. I mean, they let up. I think a week ago they had that game where they lost on that Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook 2 late threes. They gave up 147 points in that game or something like that. 140
Garrison
points.
Brooks.
What did you say?
Garrison Brooks hit that clutch
Yeah,
three.
yeah. But I mean, a big question is obviously the defense. DeAndre Jordan is not the defender like he was in Lob City. Kyrie Irving and James Harden are both subpar defenders. James Harden is picking it up a bit, showing some more intensity. Um, but having those two guys in the backcourt as your defenders, you're going to be letting up a lot of points. You're also going to be scoring a lot of points. Hopefully Steve Nash can figure out the chemistry and stuff, and making sure everyone's getting their shots and everyone's distributing the ball. No one's James Harden isn't step backing and being a ball hog, shooting every shot from the top of the key. So it's going to be really tough for them to all get their own production in a winning way.
Yep.
Oladipo goes to the Rockets, which is pretty good for the Pacers. He was on an expiring contract.
He may be
So,
moved now. From what I've been hearing, he's on the block. He may
mhm,
be heading to another contending team
yeah,
because I hear what the Rockets are trying to do is that they're going to try to move all their big contracts out, try to build around Christian Wood and get some young guys over there, which is
mhm,
that might be the best look for them. Hey,
yeah,
give them a few years. They can get some guards. They have a lot of first round picks now.
mhm,
Maybe they can make something work. And the thing about those first round picks that they acquired for James Harden is that they aren't guaranteed to be good first round picks. They could be like 28, 29,
yeah.
30, depending on how the Nets play. But
They're going to be good.
everybody made such a big deal that, oh, they gave away so many first round picks. You don't know if they're going to be great first round picks. They could be late in the round and you don't know what you're always going to get.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch. I love what Cleveland has got. I mean, they swooped in and grabbed Jared Allen and Torian Prince, and Jared Allen, he's going to be a star. He's going to be really, really, really good center in the future. And Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, those three are going to be good for a long time. Is there any other stuff you want to cover, or
Nope.
are we
I'm
good?
good.
All right, so I think this
Yeah.
concludes the first episode of Beyond the Buzzer. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe,
Give
I
us a like,
guess.
a comment, and a subscribe.
Yeah. All right, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.